Hello! Hello, everybody! How are we doing? It's good to be back on the old stream. Welcome! Welcome to a very, very wintry night here in London town. It is cold, it is wet, it is very dark. But we are here and we're having a lovely live stream. Can you see me? Can you hear me? You know, I'm always so paranoid about the technology on these things. I'm always just like, oh god. Oh god. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, all right. People can see me and hear me. Hey, people are in the chat. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Carbon Umbrella. Hello, Lily. Hello, Corbin Blackwell. Hello. Well, welcome. Welcome to the end of Streer. Welcome to the fantastic start. Welcome to the end of year stream. Roundup, rounding up 2024. Oh, nice earrings, says Amy Fist. Thank you so much. Hey, how's it going? I tell you what, we like to start these streams by lighting a candle. What have I done with my matches? Oh yeah, okay. So let me light a candle for you, and we'll see if we can we'll see if we can warm it up a little bit for a kickoff, right? Okay, here we go. Go. Isn't that nice? Hey, all right. Welcome. Isn't that cozy? We'll see if we can warm it up in here. I can almost see my breath in here. It's really, really like, ooh, it's cold in my flat. I'm going to the US next week. Because as usual, I'm taking most of December off making videos. Going traveling a little bit. I'm going to the US where it's going to be even colder. The place where I'm going is 0 degrees currently, so it is going to be very cold. And I have also lost my gloves. I lost my gloves when I was in Ireland last week, so that sucks. I'm gonna need to hope my new ones arrive in time. Dress is giving rich auntie vibes, says James Conley Lives. Honestly, I felt like it was more like it's like dark Jedi on a kind of casual coffee date. Like it's like Ensign Eurus if she'd lived and just like done a post grad after Brendock, I guess. Like, thank you so much to Mrs. Billings. It's your first ever super chat too. Love from Stoke. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, I tell you what, if anyone does send me a super chat over the live stream, I always do my best to shout them out. This live stream is probably going to be a little bit less structured and a little bit more chill than normal. Normally we talk about like the previous video that I made and I go over it in detail and it's very structured, but this time we can probably just, relax, hang out. I've got a few notes that we can talk about because we can like go back and look over the whole year. But yeah, we also like to keep the chat a chill and relaxed place. I'm sure that people will want to talk about some current events. I can see some people already talking about current events in the chat, but it's not usually a place to comment on current events, particularly ones that are still unfolding. Roll Decode says random, but your lipstick looks amazing. Where'd you get it? I don't remember, but I tell you what, I can tell you what it is. Give me a second. To be perfectly honest with you, I think I got it in Boots. It's called NYX Lingerie XXL. There you go. Hope you can see that. This is not an endorsement. They did not pay me, but this is what I'm currently wearing, and it's nice. I don't normally wear a liquid lip, but tonight I just felt like being a little bit extra glam and subtle goth. Armin Gook says, "Is heating expensive in England?" Yes, very, very, very expensive. But you know what? Candles are cheap. Candles are cheap, baby. Hey ho. Vex says you could buy gloves at your destination. I could, but I want nice gloves though. I want some ones that are actually good and are gonna make me warm. Ginger with Envy says I'm gonna make a tea and enjoy the stream. Oh man, I should have thought of that. Should have made myself a cup of tea. Should have made myself a berry tea. That would have been good. Anyway, what a year it's been. Hey gang, it's been pretty wild. Why don't we look at some of the videos that I have made this year? We can look back on the year that's been. So the first video I made this year was this one. It's called Why We Can't Build Better Cities. It was a collab with Not Just Bikes. I remember this one. It started off next to the building where I was born, and then we had the cowgirl look. Remember that? And then Justin from Not Just Bikes did a whole section. And then we had more cowgirl stuff. And I filmed this stuff around and about the town in London. And then we had the first... Oh, there was a review of Phone Booth, the movie Phone Booth, just like in the middle of it, which was slightly weird. Do you remember that? I did. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. And then the first Phantasm section of the year. So this one did really, really well. Excuse me one moment. Just going to prune the chat a little bit. Gonna put you in timeout, my friend. Might have misinterpreted you, but do be careful. I will not be merciful the second time. So yeah. So this video was cool. It did really well. This, in terms of the numbers, this one performed the best. I think it got like what, 1.7 million views, which was awesome. It got like a, it was a collab, so I was like, oh wow, okay, great. I did really well. Really, really pleased. Hey, Not Just Bikes is in chat. Hey, awesome. Good to see you. Hey, our video was, well, in terms of numbers, it was the best one this year. It wasn't my favorite one. It's not winning the title for my favorite, but it was, in terms of numbers, did real well. So very, very pleased with that. That's awesome. Yeah. And it started off a little bit of a theme for our first couple of videos, which was phantasms, which was good fun. So then we followed that one up with, I'm just gonna move these around. We followed it up with this one, which was on Judith Butler. I think this one does win my award for like my favorite of the year. It's done, in fairness, like each one that we go through has been out for less time. So obviously the first one has done the best because it's been out the longest, right? So they kind of decrease in views, but that's because the first one's been out almost a year. So this one hit over 1 million. It was about Judith Butler. I was really, really pleased with this one because like Butler is difficult, hard to understand. It's tough philosophy, and I was proud that I kind of planted the flag and was like, yeah, we've explained this one. I was also I was just really happy with the way that the acting came together and like all the scenes that we did, me and Reese. which worked so well, and I was worried that it wasn't gonna work so well, but like it was a banger and people loved it. So I like to do like one. I don't like to make my queerness the main thing about the channel, because I think there are other channels that do that and do it better, and I don't, I like to talk about the ideas and the issues. But I like to do one episode a year, which is like it's the gay one, like we do like one of like queer shit, like every year, like da-da. Miranda from PR says, did you deliberately plan to do a Phantasm trilogy? Yes, I did. So we do one video a year that's like, this is the queer shit, and like plant the flag and go, aha, trans liberation. And so this was that one, and it turned out really well. I really liked it. It's really cool. And yeah, it was really nice. I was proud of the way that I explained Judith Butler, and I feel like I made their work accessible, hopefully understandable. But yeah, that was cool. That was also at the start of me putting on muscle. This year I have been in the gym a lot, and I have been muscling up, and I am now the strongest and biggest that I have ever been. So I was just starting. Oh my gosh, I was just starting to work out more when we shot that video. So yeah, that was cool. Oh, and then the next thing I did after that, not really a Philosophy Tube episode, but nevertheless like a big project that involved a lot of filming and work, was Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend, which I wrote and starred in and did like the press and all kinds of crazy stuff for it, which was phenomenal. I think my favorite moment of the entire year, my highlight of the year, was the moment that we wrapped on decks and I walked out onto the balcony of the house where we were filming and just everyone was like, wow, we did it, and like we had a little celebration. That I think was my favorite moment of the entire year, was that, like, just that 20 seconds where I was like, ah, I did it, and like I'm enough, it's good, we did it. I was like, okay. For those 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds, I relaxed, and that was nice. And then I was like, right, back to work. So yeah. That was a lot of fun. And people responded well to it. People really, really enjoyed Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend. Anne Voss says I subscribed to Nebula especially for it. Hey. Hello from Taiwan, says MCow. Hey, hello. Yeah. It's I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. Who knows how it will be kind of received or what sort of work it'll turn into long-term acting-wise, but I had a wonderful, wonderful time doing it, so that was nice at least. And then the next big Philosophy Tube episode was this one, How Death Changes Your Perspective. Now, on the numbers, this one underperformed, actually, still is lagging a little bit, which I was disappointed about because I worked very hard on it, and I thought it was good. It was a collab too with Caitlin Doughty, and I was like, oh yeah, the first collab I did this year did really well. Second collab did really well too. No, surprisingly not. On paper, it should have popped off, but for some reason just didn't. So hey ho, that's that, I guess. Although I'm still proud of it. I'm still especially pleased because there was that section in the middle about Palestine, and I was like, okay, good. I'm pleased to have engaged with that particular topic in a way that does not break the rules of Philosophy Tube. Via, thank you so much. I'm afraid I haven't heard of This Life by Martin Hagland. So yeah, I was pleased with this video. It turned out well and turned out nicely, and I was proud of it, even if it kind of undercooked a little bit. I mean, I say it undercooked, it got what, like, okay, 700,000 views? Still pretty good, you know? It's not exactly like, didn't bomb, I suppose. MK90 says that's my favorite video of this year. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be interested to hear what people's favorites are, actually. I also want, like, what are people's favorite looks? Because I'm not sure what my favorite look is. I think it might be the cowgirl. It might be the cowgirl from this one. This is one of my favorite looks. I really liked it. And I kept you can't see the cowboy boots that I'm wearing underneath, but I kept them until when I wore them so much they kind of wore out. I had to throw them out recently. But yeah, I really liked this. And that is the hat that I wore in Django too. So it's a nice little, that's Jess's hat from Django. Woo. And then we did TikTok versus democracy, which I was also very pleased with. This one was like a weird one, because I like to do a weird one whenever a video underperforms. I like to follow it up with a weird one. So yeah, this one's really nice too. It was simple. It was like I was trying to do something clever with it, and I think it paid off. I think it did well. I mean, I have my criticisms of it that I went over in detail on the previous live stream, but yeah, very solid, very good. People liked it. People were impressed. Oh, favorite look is the phantasm ball gown, says Dernsid. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay. My favorite is your outfit from the scenes with your younger self. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Cool. Hello, Alison from New Hampshire. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. And of course, there is one more. Well, kind of. There's another video which is coming on Tuesday, which is not a full philosophy tube. It's just a it's like a half philosophy tube. It's a philosophy tube adjacent. It's me thinking about something, but not about philosophy. So I will be talking about the theory behind like acting and writing. So a lot of people ask me about how I write and how I act and how I approach characters and stuff. And it was a very big acting year for me. So I made a little like half-hour video just in my bedroom setup, being like, hey, this is how I approach characters and so on. So that will come out on Tuesday. If you're on Nebula, it's already out, and I think it's already out if you're a patron too. If you're a $15 patron, you can already see it. So Miranda from PR likes the Phantasm look too. Okay, great. Philosophy half-pipe. Yeah, cool. Little bonus video in December. I normally take December off, but I made this one just to tide you over. So yeah, that'll come out on Tuesday. My upstairs neighbor's assembling furniture again. So none of the lights in the ceiling in my house at the moment work because Mr. Upstairs neighbor's shower drained into my light fittings and like broke all the lights, and now we need an electrician to come and fix them. But in order to do that, he has to call his landlord, and the landlord has to call the manager, and the manager has to call so it's gonna be a whole thing before I can get my lights working in my flat again, which is annoying. And I leave the country on Wednesday, so I doubt that will be fixed until January. But hey ho, we love to live in rented accommodation in London, don't we? Monday Malachi R says, thank you for all the videos you make. They've been really helpful for my politics degree. Oh, thank you so much. And it's your first super chat too. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So yeah, quite a year. Quite a year for me. Oh, Fien Riviere. I'll take that again. Fien Riviere, top surgery recovery, enjoying your stream from my comfy couch with my cats. Hey, congratulations on yeeting the teeting. Well done. Well done indeed. Hey, Robin does everything says I'm still wanting a female version of Drivel. He was my favorite character. You know what? I had an idea for how to bring Drivel back. I had an idea the other day. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it's closer to happening than it's ever been in the last couple of years. So we'll see. Yeah. Yeeting the teeting? Yeah, you gotta yeet that teet, baby. Yeetus that teetus. Fun times. What else did I want to talk about? So those are all the videos here. Oh yeah, we can do a little bit of let's do the year in numbers. Where's my? Oh yeah, my channel analytics. Somebody says, what do you think about the state of academic philosophy in the UK as an alumnus of St. Andrews? Excuse you, I am an alumna of St. Andrews. Thank you very much. I'll let that one slide because not a lot of people know that alumna is the feminine of alumnus, or alumni. But hey ho. I wouldn't know because I'm not involved in academic philosophy. But there you go. So my channel analytics this year, I'm looking at them right now. I'm looking at the year in numbers. YouTube tells me, and there's still, about a month left to go. But so far, Philosophy Tube this year has gotten 12,338,615 views. Pretty good. I've been watched for 2.6 million hours, which is pretty darn good. And I've gotten 96,000 subscribers, which is pretty good too. YouTube also tells me that this is like overall lower than last year, which is, well, oh, fuck you, YouTube. I worked hard on this. I made a whole movie. I had shit to do this year, YouTube. Don't give me sass. Come on. I think it's pretty good. I think we're doing pretty darn good. Yeah, I think we're doing great. What does YouTube know? That translates into $12 million, right? Says Joran Keel. No, no, it does not. In general, I think, like, notes to self for this year. A lot of the videos that I've done this year were really high effort. So there were fewer of them, but I like, they were all filmed over multiple days. Like the Judith Butler one in particular was like a lot of work. I really went for like quality and size over quantity this year, which was a deliberate choice at the start of the year. I was like, what if I make like a lot of like really big stuff, and then but like fewer of them, and we'll just like see how it does. YouTube loves to nag, especially about numbers, says TV Sky, and yeah, they do. So that was my decision at the start of the year. I think if I had a note to self, some of the videos are not bloated, but they're like dense. So for instance, the one about cities had a review of the movie Phone Booth in the middle of it, and I'm like, okay, I could maybe have cut that out. Like, they're very rich, you know, they're very like heavy. Well, you know, I'm not like unproud of having done that, but I think maybe next year I'll just try something a little different. Of which this kind of like acting-y video is maybe a bit of a trial run, which is like something a little bit less, or something a little bit shorter for kickoff, but also less like dense. It's like, here is one thing, rather than like, here's a thing and another angle on it and a twist and a thing in the middle, you know? It's instead of being like a 3-course meal with amuse-bouche, it's like, here's a very well-prepared dish, you know? We'll see. So I'm planning my videos for next year. I've got a few ideas. I was going to do one about Nietzsche and nihilism, but I think maybe it's about doing 2 shorter ones. Maybe it's about doing one on Nietzsche and one on nihilism, and they'd come out maybe like 2 or 3 weeks apart. So I'd film them at the same time, and they would stand alone, but they would tie into each other, you know? So I just because my research in Nietzsche has like forked, and so I'm considering maybe doing 2 smaller ones, or like 2 medium ones, rather than one like hour-long thing. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. Next year, less effort, more views, says Amy Fist. No, I hope not. Thing is, I don't know what I'm going to be doing acting-wise next year yet. I may also be moving countries next year. I don't know. That's the nature of acting, is you don't know what you're going to be doing. I am maybe going to have an acting job next year. I think I am going to be doing a particular acting job. I have not signed a contract yet, and I don't know how long that is going to be. I don't know whether that's going to be 1 day or whether that's going to be 9 months. Like, at the moment, I have no idea what I will be doing on Redacted. We are going to find out together, probably fairly soon. Maybe before the end of the year. Heavy like a Christmas pudding, says Miranda from PR. Yes, exactly. So I guess we are just going to have to find out what 2025 brings. We're just going to have to wing it. We shall see. But BizDuck says focusing on views isn't the tube way. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Hell yeah. So yeah, 2025. Not entirely sure what it's gonna bring, but we will see. What are other things I want to talk about? Oh yeah, what was my? Oh yeah, I said my favorite look of the year. Oh yeah, I did that. My highlight of the year. So like, yeah, I think it's been a really good year. I think, you know, there's been some pretty amazing moments. I think, as I said, like my highlight of the year, was definitely the moment we finished wrapping Dex. I mean, just the whole experience of filming Dex was phenomenal. I had a blast doing that. So, Aura Fantastica says, "How is the money in the acting industry?" What money? Yeah, what money? Especially right now. Like, yeah, the acting industry's had a hell of a year this year. Like, the meteor hit at the end of 2023, and it's the acting industry has been on its arse this year. I'll be real with you. Queen Stodge says, will Moving Country mark the start of Philosophy Tube Season 4? I don't know. I don't know what form that will take at the moment, or if it's even going to happen. Maybe I would fly back and forth to film Philosophy Tube. That's an option. A great deal depends on Redacted and when I'm going to be wrapped on that. If I'm going to be on it at all. And also, you know, being frank with you, a great deal depends on what Donald Trump does when he's in office. We're going to find out. Cyruso X Legion says, you rock, Miss Thorne. Thank you so much. That's so kind. Yeah. Hey. Lil One says, I would love a video on Nietzsche. I've never ever understood him during my sociology degree. Well, you're in luck. You might get to. So that'd be fun. Oh yeah, there's something else I was going to talk about too. What was the moment from this year when I was most scared? And that was absolutely the premiere of The Acolyte. This was in like May, like spring, and I was like terrified. I was terrified that night because I really wanted to make the show look good. I wanted to make Leslie look good. It was my first big red carpet, not my first ever, but my first like big national, international, important level one, and I was scared, really scared. I practiced so hard. I only found out I was going at the last minute and like got a dress at the last minute, and a makeup artist like with maybe 48 hours notice, Nikki Buglowitz, who does my makeup for Philosophy Tube, came and did my makeup for the premiere too, and practiced it. Practiced my poses again and again and again until I was like really confident. And yeah. Isn't the star necklace the Nebula logo? Says Alec. Yes, it was. It was a gift. It was a gift from Nebula this year. Miranda from PR says best fan art. Ooh, that's a really good question, and I really wish I had planned to answer it. I don't know. I don't want to say that I had a favorite because I like. Genuinely, I like all of them. I don't want anyone to feel bad either. If people take the time to draw my work, I always really appreciate that. Did Baldur's Gate 3 come out this year or last year? Was that this? No, it came out last year. I was going to say there was a lot of really nice fan art for Baldur's Gate. It was cool. There were some fun ones for Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend too, but yeah, I like all of it. Yeah. He Whistles Tunes says, well, I'm a Sith in Star Wars. Yeah, me too. Hell yeah. I wasn't a Jedi. Oh, to hell with the Jedi. I hate those guys. They suck. But yeah, it was, I was terrified that night. But we had a great time. Dave Whiskers, the CEO of Nebula, came with me, which was wonderful. But yeah, that was good fun. And then what else? What else came after that? Oh, there's like Star Wars itself, obviously, which was surreal. Finally getting to talk about that, having filmed it 2 years previously, and then it kind of finally, I got to announce like, hey, I'm in this thing, which people were like, what the hell? And then followed it up a couple of weeks later with also I'm in House of the Dragon, because it all got announced at the same time. Sleeping on that as a secret was tough, being like, I'm in something but I can't tell you what it is. Yeah, that was amazing when that finally came out and I was finally able to celebrate and feel good about it. That was really lovely. Yeah. I love Sharika so much. She's great. I think it's my favorite role I've ever played. Miranda from PR says, my best Abby encounter was Kill James Bond Live Night 3. Yeah, the Kill James Bond Live shows this year. I had a blast doing that. I had a really good time doing Kill James Bond Live. That's the same dress I wore to the Acolyte premiere. I reused it for Kill James Bond. But yeah, that was incredible. Just like meeting all the fans of Kill James Bond and just like doing jokes and entertaining people. It was lovely. It was really, really lovely. That was wonderful. Yeah. Also had the Identities premiere this year. That was really, really fun for Jessie Gender's movie. That was good. A lot of movie premieres this year, from like 0 to 60 on that. Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. Had a great time that night. And of course, the Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend premiere with these two. That was a hell of a night. That was a hell of a night. I was really scared and like really working hard in the actual premiere itself, and then at the after party, of which there are no photos, I just sort of let my hair down and had fun. So that was really nice. Oh, Morgana. Oh, I'm really grateful for Morgana this year. She's one of the things I'm like most grateful for this year, because she's been like one of my best friends, and she's just been such a constant source of kindness and inspiration to me this year. Like, my friendship with her has been just so beautiful, and like, yeah, she's a really, really inspiring woman too in real life. It's just like, yeah, wonderful, really, really wonderful. And I like couldn't have asked for a better partner on Dex either. Yeah, she's like a sister now. Like, it's honestly like, it's really, really wonderful. So very, very grateful for her this year. And of course, Valentina, our wonderful director. Me and her doing hot girl shit. That was like a really good night. We had a really, really fun time. Yeah, it was so fucking good. Friendship really is magical, says Carbon Umbrella. It is. Friendship is magic. I've heard this before in a TV show somewhere. Love the dress, says Julia Mariscal. Yeah, so this Brian, the Philosophy Tube stylist, did my look for the red carpet for Dex, and he fucking nailed it. Like, this is a banger. This is a banger of a dress. I still have it. I haven't worn it since because it trails on the ground, which is like kind of hard to walk around London in. But yeah, it's fantastic. Nat Bertrat says, you look so much like Phoebe Waller-Bridge in these pics. People say that all the time, and it upsets me because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is almost a decade older than me, and also like several inches shorter. So I'm just like, I'm just a white woman with short brown hair. Like, that's it. But yeah, she's like nearly a decade older than me. Don't say that. But anyway, we did the Dex premiere, and then the Emmys. just casually, just went to the Emmys with Dave. Oh yeah, I am wearing the same necklace, Tigra. Well observed. Yeah, just went to the Emmys. Brian hooked me up with another incredible outfit. Hey Abigail, you had a great 2024, says Chris O'Maregi. Yeah, I did. I really did. Yeah, the Emmys was amazing. Seeing my cousin win an Emmy for Slow Horses was a real highlight. I was like, that's my cousin, woo! And also, like, nobody knew who Dave and I were, so we were just there, just chilling out, and like, we just got to go to the after party and like met some cool people. Shook hands with Walton Goggins, lovely guy. John Oliver too, lovely guy. And Nava Mao, it's very, very cool to meet her. Those sunglasses are such a vibe, says Little One. Yeah, they were a gift. They were a gift from Dave's friend who runs a glasses company. And they saw my outfit, and like, they were doing some glasses for Dave, and then they saw a picture of the outfit I was going to wear. I'm like, oh, here you go. How was the food at the Emmys, says Blue Majesty? Really good. Food at the Emmys, loved it. Fantastic. Mwah. Whoever was in charge of the catering, fantastic work. Morgana is the reason I'm not doing voice surgery. Yeah. That's awesome. Voice surgery, I mean, no shade if it's what you want, but I'm afraid of getting that stuff. I wouldn't want it. Who's your cousin, says Amy Fist? His name is Will Smith, but he's not that Will Smith. He's not like Fresh Prince Will Smith. He's a white guy whose name just happens to be Will Smith. He wrote Slow Horses, so yeah. Connor says, how did you go about casting for Dex? I texted Morgana and said, do you want to be in a movie? And then I said, we need a guy. And she was like, I'll ask Brandon. That was how the casting happened. Orkpork says, I was thinking that's Brad Pitt. I mean, I'm going to text Dave and tell him that. And like, he'll be very pleased he said that. Yeah, it was really, really cool. That was a really, really nice ride. Really, really nice night. Chatted with some lovely people and like, yeah, it was a real highlight. And just like when Dave was just like, do you want to come to the Emmys? I was like, obviously I want to go to the Emmys. Like, and Brian sorted me out with an amazing outfit. Armin Gook says, don't you legally have to have an open audition? No. Those sorts of things are, I mean, open audition would be like hugely expensive. So no, you don't. Yeah. What was the best catering of the year, says Ginger with envy? I would say the cookies at the Emmys. The cookies at the Emmys dessert table? Oh, so good. So good. I bonded with like, somebody's agent over those cookies. It was so good. It was really, really fun. It was a great night. I've still got that dress too. Hell yeah. Dave Whiskers sounds like a legit good person, says Carbon Umbrella. Yeah, he really, really is. He's lovely. He's like another friend that I'm really, really grateful for this year. Not only because he's kind of given me a lot of fantastic career opportunities and like really put a lot of faith in me professionally, but also just like he and I have gotten closer this year as friends and colleagues, and like it's been wonderful. We've had some lovely times hanging out, and he's a real sweetheart. So yeah, shout out to Dave. Shout out to my friend Dave, who is just a wonderful sweetheart. But yeah, it was beautiful. Did you get a goodie bag from the Emmy, says Billy Goat Buff? No. I did get to meet some of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race though, which was pretty cool. Had amazing outfits, so that was nice. And some of them knew who I was, which was really sweet. So yeah, that was a good night. So yeah, shout out to Dave Whiskers, the man himself, CEO of Nebula, the man who makes it happen. What am I? Yeah. I guess whilst we're on the subject of people that we're really, really grateful for, I'm really grateful for I don't have a picture of them, and probably won't, for like security reasons. But I'm really grateful for my new manager this year. I signed with a new manager, and they are wonderful. In addition to being just like a really good manager and really good at their job, they just constantly uplift me. I just always give you a boost. They're a really good friend, know really good restaurants, and I just like, yeah, wonderful. The acting industry has been like in a rough place this year, and having my manager, who is also my friend, be there for me and be fighting my corner has been wonderful. That's been really, really lovely. You also voiced The Getaway, says Armand Cooks. Yes, I did. That was a lot of fun too. Yeah. We stand competent management, says Quiet Nerd. Yeah, we do. And we also stand a manager who is kind and sweet and who is encouraging, who takes an interest, who makes plans and is always like, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, it's $1 million to 1 shot, but I'll get you in there. Let's go, you know? I like having an American manager. It's nice. It's really nice. Sophie Turner says, it wasn't this year, but I only watched Identity recently. I wanted to say thank you for giving a different perspective than Always Known and Trapped. Thank you, first of all, for your first super chat, but also thank you for noticing that I deliberately did that. I deliberately gave that video a different framing, so yay. Hell yeah. Woo. Do you get recognised more out and about with all these big roles, says Carl Fox? Yeah. I've gotten recognised a lot this year. More from acting this year. Not more than Philosophy Tube, but I've been recognised more from acting this year than I was last year, obviously. So that's really nice. So yeah, that's cool. I've had some fun auditions this year. Not many, because the acting industry, as mentioned, is kaput. But I've had some auditions this year. I've had some auditions for things that were like, this is pants. And then I've had some auditions for like seriously big stuff. So it's been a weird year. I've had some auditions for like, hey, do you want to be in like international like movie franchise? And then I've had none of which I got, by the way. And then I've had some for like, do you want to be in like a bullshit? I'm just like, yeah, sure. I will audition for anything. I don't mind. I just like acting. I like trying. Nepal V says, even though your appearance in House of the Dragon Season 2 was brief, you nailed that role. Thank you so much. Well. Well then. Yes. Spent a lot of time in the US this year, just working mainly, which is nice. I love it over there and have friends over there. Are British people that much worse to work with than Americans? No, I wouldn't say worse. I like working with Americans. And also, it has to be said, this is something I've definitely realised this year, Americans control the film industry, even in Britain. That was something that I noticed this year on a lot of sets, even sets in Britain, is that when someone with an American accent walks in, everyone's at attention. And I was like, even the stuff that is cast here and made here is being run out of an office in LA. And when I was in LA, I just got there was an amazing thing that happened when I was in LA, which is that I met with the casting director, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're casting big thing, big movie." He said, "Well, it's being filmed in Britain, and the casting office is in Britain, but the casting office in Britain is reporting to us." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And he said, "Let me email them and I'll get you an audition." So even though it's being cast in Britain, he was just like, "Send Abigail for an audition." And like next day, the casting office in Britain were like, "Yes, sir. Here you go, Abigail." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." And that was the moment where I was like, fuck me, I've got to move to Hollywood. Because as much as they say the film industry in Britain is like booming at the moment, it's like it is, but it's booming under the control of Americans. And if you want in at the top level and not at the kind of like feet level, if you want good roles, if you want to be challenged, and in particular if you're a trans woman and you want to actually be seen as an actor and not as like dead hooker number 2, no small parts, only small actors. But yeah, if you've got ambition like I do, then that's where you got to be, baby. So yes. In short, I love having an American manager. They are really, really great. How do you handle working in drastically different time zones all the time? Kind of get used to it. Sort of ramped it up a little bit. Is 2025 the year of Philosophy Tube LA? Says Chelsea Jupiter. Thank you for that super chat. Maybe. We'll see. I was talking about this earlier on. I've got to finish up a job here in the UK. I don't yet know how long that's going to take. And also, we got to see what happens with Donald Trump, but maybe. Nepal V says, great to see a fellow YouTuber landing big roles. Thank you. Is the camera shaking or am I having a stroke, says Jycey. Yeah, sorry, I think I keep knocking the table with my knee. But yeah, the Americans, they're in charge. You gotta be there. Jet lag you have to experience must be a hell of a thing to deal with. Yeah, it's kind of get used to it by now, really. It takes me a couple of days to get over it. Yeah. Is it really true that publishing a book would get you more bad attention than acting does, says Niccolo Combeferri? Yeah, I talked about this a lot on Tumblr. I was approached this year by publishers asking me to write a non-fiction book about the way the NHS treats trans people, and I don't. And I said no, I declined. I like really weighed it up, and I wrote an introduction that may end up becoming part of something else. and like I planned the book, but I just don't think that's gonna be good for all the reasons I've already explained on Tumblr. So, yeah, just I'm thinking about like, so something they taught me at drama school was to come up with your dream job, and your dream job is something that sits at the center of a diamond, and the diamond is a graph of like doing it for the money, doing it for the love, doing it for yourself, doing it for like society and the public, and because it's the right thing to do. Like, what is the one thing that is at the absolute center of all of those things? And then they said every time you get offered something, ask yourself, does it take me closer to the center of that diamond or further away? And also the idea is to have a bit of a balance throughout your life of like, okay, some things you do it for the money, some things you do it for the love, some things you do it because it's like, yeah, I really want to do this, and some things you're like, yeah, you know what, this is a good, worthy cause to be involved in, right? So the trick is to have a balance, but also to assess like what takes you closer to the center point of that diamond. For me, I know what that is. I know what that job is. I know what like that is. That I know what the center of that diamond is. And so when the publishers were like, hey, do you want to write a book? And I was like, tempting, but it actually takes me further away from the center of the diamond, so I'm not going to. So there you go. Did you do improv at some point in your career, says Don Ixton Music? Yeah, I used to do improv at university, and occasionally improvise on set when we're filming something. I think like 20% of the dialogue in Django was improvised, so that's cool. Yeah. You gotta follow Tumblr, Abby, says Armin Cooks. Yeah, I really like being on Tumblr. I'm a lot more like raw and honest on Tumblr. A lot more sassy too. Like rude sometimes, but Sama Abdullah says, how is doing it for the love different than doing it for yourself? Doing it for yourself can mean like for your own personal gain and for your own personal glory. Doing it for the love is like when you're not doing it for the money. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's the best Kill James Bond memory of the year, says Ben Jones? I think the live shows that we did at Streatham Space Project, Austin Powers ones, were like really, really good. Really, really enjoyed that. Ooh, Catalina Calera says, do you have a top 4 films? I don't have a top 4, but I think my favorite film that I've seen so far this year, it's a close race between I Saw the TV Glow and People's Joker. Thanks Ravioli for that super chat. I think People's Joker might just pip it because of the fun that I had going to Glasgow to see the UK premiere of People's Joker, and like also because Vera messaged me afterwards and I was just like, oh wow, like that's beautiful. Miranda from PR says, I'm doing my dream job working for a trans charity. Hey, nice. So I think my favorite film of the year will be The People's Joker. If you have not seen it, do check it out. It was so refreshing. It's a film that I felt inspired by, and that doesn't happen to me often. Usually when I see a film and it's really, really good, I'll come out of it and be like, I want to work with that person, and I feel that it has stoked my ambition, and that's how I felt about I Saw the TV Glow. I came away from that and that was really good. Like, this is the industry I want to work in. Like, these people are really good. Like, this is the kind of thing that I want to do, and I feel like, yeah, okay, I'm like on the path to do this. I'm like reaching for it. But People's Joker, I came out of that and was genuinely just like creatively inspired, and was like, yeah, you know what? I feel the joy of creating art. It reminded me of the value of art outside of my career. Like, I am somebody who have chosen to make my art and my passion my career, which is wonderful. And there is a professional side to that. There's like a let's get the money, let's get the deal, let's get the glory. And I like that kind of thing. But People's Joker reminded me like also about like doing it for the love, you know? And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I think for that reason, People's Joker is my favorite film of the year. Absolutely. Did you get to meet Vera Drew, says Queen Stodge? Not yet, but she's in LA and we're texting, so I hope I get to meet her at some point. That would be lovely. I'll be honored. Yeah. Queen Stodge says, I love how the Prince falls into that niche of trans love letter to a piece of media. Yeah, it's People's Joker, I Saw the TV Glow, and the Prince are like the only three, as far as I'm aware, examples of that very niche genre. So yeah, that's cool. I think my favorite books of the year, I got two. I think my favorite fiction book of the year is Wrath Goddess Sing, which I'm about to reread for the third time on the plane next week. Incredible. If you have not read it, check it out. It's the Iliad, but focused on the women, including Achilles, and she's a trans woman. Banger. Like, it's so good. Oh, and also, like, the gods are real and magic is real, and, like, it's a banger. It's a banger. Amazing. I met the author Maya in New York, and she even signed this copy, which is now very well thumbed. Yeah. Banger. Absolute banger. Favorite fiction book of the year, hands down. Favorite non-fiction book of the year? Tough call, because I obviously read a lot of them. I think, in terms of, like, what book has impacted my thinking the most this year, Unaccountability Machine by Dan Davies. It's sort of brought together some themes I had already been thinking of the year before, but in, like, a really, really nice way. So, yeah, this one has really, really, like, lodged in my brain and been good for me this year. It's given me lots of good thoughts, so that's nice. Oh, Drew Butt says your channel formed a watch club at my uni. Oh, that's lovely. How long did it take you to cry whilst watching I Saw the TV Glow? Within the first 2 minutes for me, says Charlie. I definitely cried at the 20 years later thing. I Saw the TV Glow is one of the few films that I've had, like, a physical reaction to. I was, like, squirming in my seat. It was that horrible. Yeah. Oika Kerry says, would you mind making a text list of this anywhere? I think my social media manager is going to be doing that. So, I think she is. What else did I have this year? Oh, my favorite play of the year? So I'm actually seeing 2 more before the end of the year. I'm going to see Leslie Headland's new play, Cult of Love, in New York. And I'm also going to see The Tempest in London with Sigourney Weaver. So that's lovely. So far, though, I think my favourite play of the year is Burnt Up Love by Che Walker. Armin Gook says you have a social media manager now. Yeah, I've had one for a couple of years. Yeah. She's lovely. She's very good. Very, very good. Favorite music artist? Ooh, of the year? I don't have Spotify, so I can't tell you my Spotify Wrapped. I don't like letting algorithms tell me what to listen to. My taste in music is pretty eclectic. I saw Caroline Rose, actually, earlier in the year. I saw her in Brooklyn. She was really good. She's, like, stuck in my memory. Although, favorite gig of the year, now that I'm thinking of it, favorite gig, Slater. I saw Slater and Kim Petras this year, back to back. I'm sorry, Kim. I have a photo of Kim Petras on my wall. By the way, she's, like, literally right here. In fact, I can show you. Here, I mean, literally have Kim on my wall. So, like, I'm really sorry, Kim. Like, you know I love you, but I had such a blast at Slater. I think it's because I went to Kim on my own and also had, like, an uncomfortable experience there with someone trying to pick me up, which was unfortunate, not her fault. But Slater, I saw Slater this year. Banger gig. Just, like, the perfect size gig too. It was, like, big enough to feel like it was bumping, but not so big that it was like, I feel like I'm in a corporate impersonal place. Like, when Slater dropped a surprise cover of Diamonds Are Forever, I was like, wow! It was so good. It was wonderful. So yeah, Kim, amazing. That was a really big gig. And don't get me wrong, like, I got the VIP poster and the VIP tote bag and stuff, obviously. But that was like a gig, you know. It didn't have the kind of, like, intimacy And that's fair. Like, she's a fucking Grammy award-winning artist now. Like, she's really, really big. I can't expect her to be doing the same kind of like intimate gigs that she was when I first saw her like 5 years ago. Because she's huge now, and like Slater will get there too. But Slater, that particular gig was just like. Also, I drank just the right amount. I was with really good people. I just banger. It was really, really good. So, Slater, favorite gig of the year. But Caroline Rose, when I saw her in Brooklyn, she was new. I went with somebody who like introduced me to her. It was like, hey, I'm going to this gig. Do you want to come with me? I'd never heard of her before. But like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Actually, really had a good time. So yeah, I got some of her music afterwards too. And that was nice. Also, her opening act, Caroline Rose, was an act called La Force, and I got some of her music too. Really, really good. Really, really good. Miranda from PR says, I chatted with Mason Alexander Park at TDR Soho. Cool. Can't remember what Mason Alexander Park's pronouns are, but Pronoun is really good. I saw Pronoun in Cabaret, and Pronoun was the best thing about it. There you go. Who else have I got on my... got a lot of like angry music from Morgana. Wherever Morgana and I hang out together, I always get a bunch of like goth rock shit from her. Yeah, wild. Yeah, Slater, definitely my favorite musician of the year. Hell yeah. What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, okay, what was my low point of the year? I think I've had 3 low points of the year. One was when the cast review dropped. That was hard. That was real hard. I despaired a little bit and like had to be, picked up. There's only been a few moments this year where like I've really gone, oh god, it's over. Like it's over. I've despaired. Obviously, without wishing to get too political, the American election was a moment where I was like, for a little while, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna, when the Dems win, I'm gonna move to the US and I'm gonna have a great career and everyone's gonna be happy to see me. And then I was just like, man, like that would have been cool. But maybe it'll still happen. But for a while, I despaired a little bit there. Thank you to Cyruso X Legion for that super chat. And I was obviously very, very worried about all my American friends and stuff. But yeah, the cast review was a tough one. That was a hard time. I think another one was that leaving my old agent. So I left my old agent this year and signed with a new manager. That was a scary moment when that happened. I was like, oh shit, because there was like a month where I like didn't. I was like in the process of doing the change where I was like out on my own for a little bit, like, oh no, oh no, I've beansed it. But then I signed with my new manager and like that has gone really, really well. But that intermittent period was really, really scary. Very, very scary indeed. So that was a real low point. Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend, the filming getting postponed in February, that was rough too. All kind of worked out okay in the end because we got to. I'll tell this story in the video next week, and I've told it in the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, it's yeah. Did your new agent approach you? Says Queen Stodge. So they're actually a manager, and we've been friends for a couple of years already. So I guess yes, they did, but it was years ago. So. Dern Sid says racism ruins everyone's lives. Truly. If you have a manager, do you quit or fire them? Who pays who? So both managers and agents work on commission. So if you get a job, then they take a percentage of that. You can have a manager and an agent. They're two different things. I had never had a manager before. I now have a manager, and don't have an agent. So if you're an agent, send me an email. I had an agent and then left them, and now I have a manager. So you can have both at the same time. If you're curious about the difference, anybody can kind of wake up and call themselves a manager. An agent processes payment. So the production company you're working for will pay your agent, and then your agent sends you. And because the agents handle money, they have to be like licensed and registered, and there is like a whole laws about the kind of financial back end and the legal back end that they have to have. A manager is like somebody who looks after your career and you pay them. So in this case, the production company would pay me, and they have done for gigs I've done this year, and then I pay my manager their commission. Like my manager bills me. So like structurally, there's a difference, but also it's like a difference in approach. So an agent's job is to get you a gig today. A manager's job is to get you your dream job. Generally, managers tend to have a bit more of like a hands-on approach. They tend to be a bit more personal, look after you a bit more, take more of an interest, whereas an agent will get stuff from a casting director and just be like, do you fit this age demographic? Cool, here you go. And if you're like, I don't know, I don't really feel like this is the direction I want my career to be heading in, your agent's going to be like, cool, well, you don't have to do it then, whatever, like, I'll give it to someone else, you know? It's just like, their job is to be between casting director and you, an actor. Like it's much more of a pipeline type deal, or at least at a big agency. It is, and some can sometimes be like quite impersonal for that reason. Whereas a manager is like much more personal. It's like, hey, how you doing? What do you want to be in? Who do you want to meet? Cool, let me connect you with this person, and so on. So, yeah. In the UK, it is less common to have a manager. That's definitely the American way. So American actors will sometimes have like agents and managers and lawyers, and so they like end up not making a lot of money for that reason. Whereas in the UK, it's less common to have a manager, and certainly some of the big agencies here will like frown on you if you have a manager. They're like, oh no, we don't share. We don't want someone else like checking our work. You know, we don't want someone else bothering us. Certainly like big agencies where like don't like playing with others. Yeah, that's also kind of difference. Whereas the manager is the person who's like, you know, on the team. Yeah, manager sounds more personal than an agent, says Pring Meadow. Yeah, it can be. But you know, different strokes for different folks. Different career styles. I don't like sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. I don't like going long periods of time without checking in with the people who are working for me. Not that I'm like breathing down their necks, but I like to be like, what's the plan? Where are we at? Like, who are we submitting to? What do we think? What's going on here? Whereas an agent is just like, I'll call you when there's something, and you might not hear from them for 6 months, right? Whereas manager, like, you know, I check in with my manager, you know, every couple of days. Just see how things are going, and also just because we're friends. So different strokes for different folks. If you're one of those actors who's just like, yeah, quite happy to just go 6 months and never hear from my agent, whatever, that's not me. I like to be out there hustling. I like to set up my own meetings. I like to be writing my own things, emailing people like, hey, do you want to work together? Like, hey, let's have a meeting, and so on. And an agent can sometimes feel like, what the fuck are you doing? You're getting in my way. Like, my job is to be the pipeline, right? Whereas manager is like, yeah, cool, I'm on it. Like, CC me in, I'm there, you know, so. Lavender says, hey, you probably get this kind of comment a lot, but you're one of my inspirations as a young trans woman, and I want to say thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, low points this year. Cast review, leaving my old agent, that was scary, kind of worked out for the best. Dex getting delayed, that sucked, but worked out for the best again. Also, I guess on the personal front, like I had a pretty big breakup this year. Didn't talk about it publicly, never do, but yeah, like a multi-year relationship ended this year, which was sad. It was painful. It was the right call, and it needed to happen. But it was, and like we're still on friendly terms, but it was hard. I didn't really have time to like sit down and process that at any point, really. Not at the time, at least, because I was like so busy filming and stuff. But that was hard. But you know, on the flip side, I like also you know, fell in love again. So that's been wonderful. Again, I don't talk about this kind of thing publicly all that much, but that has been truly very special. So, you know, started my first dose of androgen blockers the same day as the election, said Steakhouse Hemlock. Well, hey, nice work. Hell yeah. When did you cut your hair, says Abdul Cuevas. Oh, when we wrapped on Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend. I just wanted to change it up a little bit. It was so hot in LA, and I was like, oh, I just want to get something short and sexy. I might grow it out a little bit longer again. So, yeah. Are there any big projects that you've already done that'll be announced in 2025? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I've got a couple things still coming in 2024. One of which is... oh my gosh, I just forgot about something that happened this year. I completely forgot about this. Just like met Dylan Mulvaney at some point. Like went to Edinburgh, saw her live show. It was amazing. She's amazing. She's great. Yeah, hung out with Dylan. Very cool. Very small. Very tiny lady. Tiny TikTok star. She's lovely, and also knew who I was, which I was like kind of starstruck. So, that was cool as hell. Yeah, just hanging out with Dylan, just going drinking with her and Alan coming in a bar. So yeah, real lovely lady. I'm hoping to be seeing her again some more next year. That was a banger. Had a great time. What else? What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, the one other thing I have coming this year is I'm on University Challenge. I'm doing University Challenge, which comes out on New Year's Eve, on BBC Two at I want to say 8:30 p.m. I think. Yeah. If you're American and you don't know, this is a big deal. University Challenge is a kind of British institution. It's a like a really big quiz show. It's massive. It's like viewership in the millions, and it's a quiz show, and you go and you represent the Celebrity Christmas Special, which is what I'm on. You represent your old university. So I'm representing St Andrews. I'm the team captain of St Andrews. How did that happen, says Ginger with Envy. The producers of University Challenge wrote to me and said, would you like to be on University Challenge? And I said, yes, let me CC in my new manager. And my new manager did the deal and made it happen. It was like, BBC, lock it down, make sure it's all good, all, you know, everyone's polite and kind. I had a lovely time. Yeah, I had a really good time. We filmed it like maybe a month ago, so I know the results. I'm obviously not going to tell you. But I had a really good time, so it was really good. Is there any way for us to watch it in the US, says Denai Herbert? Yeah, it'll be on BBC iPlayer, which you can get in any country, I think. Is that the one that gave us We Need Jungle, I'm afraid, says Kai Fox? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's that one. So yeah, I was team captain for St Andrews. It was really cool. At the announcing, I was like, St Andrews Thorn whenever I hit the buzzer. It's really good. It was really cool. Did you have to get approval from your old university to represent them? No. Just the BBC just wrote to me and was like, do you want to do it? So yeah. Spring Meadow says the BBC, nice and not transphobic. So this was BBC Entertainment, not BBC News. They are two, well, the BBC is one thing, but like two different arms. So that's why I felt a bit more confident. What other TV game shows would you like to be on, says Queen Stodge? I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd want to do just panel shows. I think I acquitted myself fairly well. But I wouldn't just want to do panel shows. I want to do acting first. But like, it was really cool. It was very cool to just be like announced as, you know, she's been in Star Wars, and she's been in House of the Dragon, and she created Philosophy Tube, and she's in Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, that will be the last thing I do this year, because it will be like when there's only like 3 hours of the year left. So that'll be that. Yeah, I don't have any pictures of it, but I went to Dublin last week, and the Trinity College Dublin Philosophy Society named me an honorary patron, which was like a huge honor, and also the Law Society gave me their Praeses Elite Award, which was like really a huge, massive honor. Like I'll talk more about that when I'm allowed to release the videos and the photos of it, and I'll also I did an acceptance speech, and I'll post the text of that probably as a public post on Patreon, so you won't have to pay to read it. But yeah, that was another kind of amazing thing that happened at the end of the year. I'm trying to think, like, what else? I think that's pretty much everything. That's like my whole year, I think. Still got a couple weeks left, but yeah. Amazing times all around, really. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. There we go, I'm back. Will there be a novelization of Dex, says Queen Stodge? I don't know, I don't think so. Well, I'm not planning one right now. Never say never, but... Your parents must be so chuffed, says Carbon Umbrella. Yeah, they were! They were like, oh, we understand what this means! And, like, we're gonna try and put it on in our New Year's party. Like, so yeah, that's fun. Yeah. At what point do you overtake Prince Andrews as the most Prince William as the most famous alum of St. Andrews? And I think Prince William's probably still got an edge on me there. Like, as, you know, future king. R. Coben says, do you know how internationals can watch you on the quiz show? Yeah, I think it'll be on BBC iPlayer. Probably on New Year's Day. So, yeah. That'll be fun. How about the next Doctor, says Sophie Turner. I tell you that the casting for Doctor Who is locked up tight. Nobody gets within a million miles of that show without personal referral. Like, it is closely guarded. In fact, I saw the TARDIS because when I was filming University Challenge, it was Children in Need the same night. Which, if you don't know what Children in Need is, it's like the Avengers but British. We do it every year for charity. They had the Daleks there, and they had the TARDIS was there. So I saw the TARDIS. It was parked backstage. So yeah, I did walk past it and was like, maybe, you know, if invited, I would love to. But yeah, as I say, locked up tight. Yeah. Critical Mind. We're not going to talk about current events, particularly current events that are ongoing. iPlayer is only available for UK people, by the way, says Connor X Cox. The secret ingredient is crime. Have you heard of NordVPN? No. They're not sponsoring me. They've not paid me any money, but I do use them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's one other thing. A patron sent in a question. If you're a patron of mine at a certain level, you get to ask a question, then I'll answer on live stream. So here we go. Clicksubscribe.com was my patron, and he says, is Plato's forms now considered obsolete philosophy? Seems like every university student learns about it, but at no point did anybody state that it was false or obsolete. I think science has progressed to a point now where the Plato's forms are no longer a tenable position to hold. So, I think this is a really interesting question because, like, philosophy doesn't really go obsolete, at least not in the way we would think of it now. So, yeah, very possibly Plato was advancing the forms as, like, a literal claim about the universe. And now, very few people believe that it's literally true, although some people still do. There are some philosophers who will still argue that the forms are absolutely real. But that doesn't mean that his philosophy isn't still interesting or provocative. And also, I would remind you that, like, there are a lot of people who still believe that the real meaning of this world, that the real value of things like good or beauty or truth is not found here on Earth, but in the hereafter. Like, Plato wasn't the only person who made that move. Like, you know, consider Christianity. and how much the early church fathers were inspired by Greek philosophers. Like that kind of move is still an extremely popular position. And also, it's been a very influential one too. So I think for that reason, the philosophy Plato's forms is still worth learning, is still worth teaching and thinking about, because there's a saying, I don't know how true this is, but you know, it's somewhat valuable. There's a saying in academic philosophy that all of philosophy for the last 2,000 years has just been a series of footnotes to Plato. I don't think that's quite true, but learning Plato is a really good place to start, because so much of philosophy and like thought about metaphysics and all kinds of things, ethics too, for the last 2,000 years has like really flowed from that. So I don't think philosophy really goes obsolete in the way that you're thinking, although it may well be the case that like the forms are not real. But if you look at things like the metaphysics of mathematics, those guys are still playing around with that sort of thing. So there you go. Krista Moregi says, Abigail, random question. As a Brit, do you prefer London or New York? Ooh, tough one. I'm gonna say London, but it's because I'm not neutral. It's because I like live here. I have my stuff here. I know how to get around it easily. I know it enough that I feel reasonably safe in London, whereas New York is still a little bit strange to me. So yeah, I'm biased. It's a taste thing. Yeah. So why don't we hang out for another 15 minutes? Why don't we hang out for another 15 minutes? Oh, so there's a couple more things I've got coming up in 2025. I've got quite a few episode ideas. Let me run down the list of episode ideas that I've got. Stuff I might want to do next year. Don't hold me to any of this, but like, I want to do maybe 1 or 2 videos on Nietzsche and nihilism. Those are the ones I'm planning right now. I think I might want to do one on religion, on like liberation theology and like reclaiming religion from the right wing. That could be cool. Why queer people should be prison abolitionists is another one. That could be quite cool. That could be my gay shit video. What else? What else? I've got a little bit of a plan for someone about performing vulnerability online. We'll see. What else have we got? Oh, I thought about maybe doing one as a collab with Tom Nicholas, which is just like, why are Britain's rivers full of shit? And it would be about why Britain's rivers are full of shit, but also about like the way systems are organized and the philosophy of management. That could be cool. Oh, maybe one on René Girard, just because he's like quite a popular philosopher on the far right. That could be cool. Something about having kids and antinatalism, maybe. It might be time to revisit that. Maybe something about the Vienna Circle too. Not quite sure what it would be, but yeah, that could be fun. Birdkeeper Toby's in chat. Hey, good to see you, Toby. How's it going? Hell yeah. Good to have you here, man. Any New Year's resolutions, says Courtney Noel. Not yet. So my New Year's resolutions for this year were to stop name searching on Twitter, which I have done. I have not name searched on Twitter all year. I'm not even on Twitter anymore, which is great. And to write a feature film script, which I am a few pages away from finishing and looks like I'm going to finish by the end of the year. So that's great. Other than that, I don't know. I'll see. I don't have any pressing bad habits that I'm aware of. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. That's a good question. Oh, and the other thing I have to do before the end of the year is every December I post a Roundup post on Patreon, public post, so you don't have to pay to read it, which is just like rounding up the channel's finances, saying how the finances are doing at the moment. I need to sit down and basically figure out how the finances of the channel are doing once I've paid my taxes for the year, which I will be doing soon. So before the end of the year, I will do a public post on Patreon talking about like the usual public post talking about the state of the channel's finances. So yeah. Yes. Something else I want to do in the new year is revamp the Patreon a little bit, simplify it, I think, adapt it to the way things are changing. I think probably my resolution for next year, a resolution I'm going to make next year is going to be to write another feature film. I've got another one in the tank. I've got another idea, so I'll probably be doing that. But yeah. As for everything else, hopefully there's going to be some acting work in 2025. I don't know yet. As I say, I'm expecting to hear fairly shortly about a couple things, and pleasant surprises are always possible. We shall see. I hope there's some acting work this year. I hope the acting industry recovers a little bit. God, we've taken a hammering this year, but oh yeah, well no. Yeah, okay, there's a couple things I'll probably be doing next year. Hopefully. Me and a friend are talking about maybe doing something together. There might be, redacted too. We'll see. BizDuck says, anything you can tell us about the movie idea? Nope. No. I'm a couple of pages off finishing it. Probably it's not going to see the light of day for several years, if ever. It went in a different direction than I thought it would when I was first sketching it out. It's my first feature that I've written, and I see the flaws in it. But I am... that has inspired me to be like, okay, this is how I adapt my planning and my execution for the next one. So it's been a good writing experience. What's your writing process like, says Dent. Funnily enough, I have a video coming on that very thing on Tuesday. So you will see on Tuesday what that is like when this video comes out. In the meantime, you'll just have to wait and see. Denai Herbert says, what highlighter are you wearing? Your skin is glowing. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can show you. So, let me disable performance mode here. So I have a little bit of this on, which is like Revolution highlight. This is not endorsement, they're not paying me. A little bit of Revolution highlight on, which I just got in Boots in Glasgow, I think, for the People's Joker. And then this one is Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Champagne Glow highlighter, which was a gift from Nikki, Philosophy Chief's makeup artist. She got sent it by Charlotte Tilbury and was like, oh, do you want it? You always look good in Charlotte Tilbury. And I was like, yeah, I'd love some. Thank you. I'll tell you something else I like to do. Is sometimes I like to mix a little, this is like Glossier Future Dew, like an oil serum. I sometimes like to mix a little bit of that in with my foundation. It just makes you nice and glowy. That's just what I like to do. You don't have to. You must imagine Sisyphus moisturized. Worked on a film set for the first time this year, says Ed Sweet. Even just as a runner, I felt a real sense of purpose. It's tough to find work outside of London. Yeah, tell me about it. It's tough to find work in London too, Ed. Feels like it's more important than ever to create roles for ourselves. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Pavel Sukharev, thank you so much. I wore this for the premiere of Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend. Yeah. Hope you have a great 2025 in the acting industry, says Dent. Yeah, you too. Survive till 25. That's what they told me this year. And I've, touch wood, survived. 22 days to go. We're in the off season now, so probably not going to be any auditions or acting work for the rest of the year. But yeah, hopefully 2025 is better for all of us. I really do think that the acting industry's... I've worked with some people this year who are like, yeah, we just got to wait for it to come back. It's just got to wait for it to come back. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to come back. I don't think it's going to come back the same. I think there are a lot of people who are kind of living in the past a little bit on it, who are waiting for things to go back to the way they were 5 years ago. I don't think they are. I don't think we are going back to the pre-strikes or even the pre-COVID days. I think with the streaming bubble bursting right now, we're all in a difficult spot. We're gonna have to figure out what comes next. But hey, when there's blood on the streets, buy property. That's what they say. Everything's in crisis, but that means there's everything to play for. So, grab it while you can. I'll do my very, very best, whatever happens. And I have a wonderful manager cheering me on. I'm attached to a couple cool things. And I tell you what, another wonderful thing this year is that I got attached to play the lead in my dream project. Like earlier on I was talking about the center of the diamond. I am attached to play it. Like, if that thing ever gets made, it's gonna be with me. So I am attached to play my dream role. If it ever gets made, which I think is a long shot. It's a snowball's chance in hell, baby. But it might happen. And if the movie gets made, I will be in it. That is as close to signed and sealed as it can be. So, hey, if any of you have $200 million that you'd like to give me, super chat me $200 million right now, and we'll make that movie. Actually, press not to super chat it because YouTube will take like 30-40% of it. So yeah, by all means, if you have $200 million, just down the back of the couch, if you are a billionaire, then by all means, send it to me so we can make an incredible movie with me in it. So hell yeah. 200 million is probably a bit much, We could certainly use it, but I think there's a world in which we do it for 100, 150, maybe even less than 100, depending on marketing budgets and so on. But we're gonna give it a go. We'll try. Crazy to me that 200 million isn't what it used to be anymore for blockbusters. Yeah, movies are expensive, dog. Movies are expensive, and the thing that's like really, really expensive about movies that people don't necessarily think of is marketing. Because in order to make money back, even if you make a really good movie, if you don't market it, people are not going to know that it exists, and they're not going to see it. If you don't market it in the right way, people aren't going to see it. So really, if you have a budget of this amount, you need half as much again in marketing. If you have $100 million film, to make a film cost $100 million, you need about $50 million in marketing. I'm serious. It's the same with plays too. It is. Marketing is spenny, and people always forget about it. It's like, that's what you stick up an advert. No, big marketing, good marketing, mass marketing is so expensive. And like, if you want to make a profit on a movie, you have to do that. You gotta do it. It's not even just like the art and paying the other people, like save money on AI and stuff. It's not even just the art and the assets. It's getting the eyeballs, like getting the ads in the right places, which right now is so chaotic too, because something that's tiny could go viral and become huge, become a cult hit. But if you want to make money, if you want it to make a profit, which if you are making a movie that costs $100 million to make, then the only people who have that kind of money are the ones who are like, we are a business. Like the Disneys, the Netflixes, the like Amazons of this world, the people who are like, we do this for profit, and we do it because we kill it and because it's our job. And if you want to make a $100 million movie, then you need to be going to those people, and you need the big money to market it. So, yeah. Would you ever do voiceover for animation, says Dent? Yeah, I have. I have done it. Yeah. Nat Bertrat says, pretty sure Barbie had the same budget for the film and the marketing. Yeah, the Barbie marketing was a big operation. I had a friend who was tangentially involved in that, who was doing some window displays for it, and like, he was like, yeah, the marketing on this thing is huge. So there you go. Yeah, Wicked's marketing budget was about the same as its production budget. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. You gotta. You gotta do it. You gotta spend a hell of a lot of money on marketing. Because that's the only way you make the money back. So yeah. Well, I think that's probably about all that we have time for now. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Maybe let's hang out for another 5 minutes if you've got any last minute questions for 2024. This will be the last stream of 2024, but if you've got any last minute questions, then submit them now. And then, hi Big Joel, I was just about to leave, but it's nice to see you. How you doing? I've loved your videos this year, Big Joel, by the way. You've had some bangers this year, I've really enjoyed them. And the Little Joel ones too. And the bonus Nebula Joels. I sometimes put Big Joel on when I'm cooking, I really like it. So yeah, if anyone has any last questions for 2024, chuck them in the next 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go and have a cup of tea. Who's your dream director to work with, says Armin Gooks. Ooh. Tough one. I've got like a whole list. I think, genuinely, I hear Zack Snyder is really, really nice. I would love to work with him. That would be cool as hell. Would love to work with Vera Drew on something. That would be great. Jane Schoenbrunn, again, like talked earlier on about how I Saw the TV Girl was one of my favorite movies of the year. Yeah, I like all... Oh, James Mangold. Definitely. Would love to work with James Mangold. That was cool. Legend. Any exciting Christmas plans? Just gonna spend it with the family. Just gonna go... I've got to go to a wedding in the US, and then I'm going to New York, and then I'm just going straight home to the north of England. So that'll be cool. How did you get into acting, says K9 Aircraft? Honestly, I've been doing it as long as I can remember. I've literally, like, since doing school nativity plays, I've been acting that whole time. I've always been into acting. It's just what I've always done. I don't know where the earrings came from. Brian, the Philosophy Tube stylist, got them. I don't know where they came from. I'm sorry. I know people who work with Zack Snyder, and I have it on good authority that he is lovely. So I would love to work with him. I also, think he's a good action director. I think he does a good job. Mangold should put you in Dawn of the Jedi. Hell yeah, I'd love to. I would happily go back and do more Star Wars stuff, and happily go back and do more Disney stuff, actually. It was good working with them. I had a really good time. Ditto with House of the Dragon too. So can you tell us a bit about your role in Faithless, a Sojourn story? Yeah, that was really fun. I'm in an audio drama, which is on Nebula. And I play an Inquisitor who's like, how to say... Have you seen Equilibrium? She's kind of like Christian Bale in that. She's like an ass-kicking warrior who is very stoic. It was a bit of a challenge, that role, to find the kind of stillness and find the inhumanity, I suppose. But yeah, it was cool. Check it out. It's fun. I need to listen to the full thing, actually, with all the kind of sound and everything. It'd be good. Have you seen the Eurus Acolyte concept art that was posted online? No. Send it to me on Tumblr. Hell yeah. Oh, Dan says, don't imagine you'll see this, Abigail, but Philosophy Tube has helped me through a lot. Oh, well, I'm glad, Dan. I'm glad I could do that for you. That's awesome. Have you voice acted for animation in anything other than Baldur's Gate 3? Yeah, that's one of the stuff. My first ever job out of drama school was doing voiceover for an accountancy company animation, like internal corporate stuff. That was good fun. And I did God, what was that, the video game? God, what was that called? Man, what's the other video game I did? My character's name was Nora. I've completely blanked it. It was on the Switch. Harmony Fall of Reverie. That was it. Yeah. Expert Theory says, how many push-ups can you do without stopping? Many! I was saying at the start of the stream, I am the strongest and biggest now that I've ever been. I got really jacked this year. So yeah, that's cool. As a closeted trans person, you've been a great influence to me, says Karem. Well, don't look now, but if you're telling us that you're trans, then I think you've just come out. Congratulations. There you go. Oh yeah, Death and Taxes, says Karina Freeman. Yeah, I did that video game too. Yeah, well remembered in the old days. Would you want to be part of the Helliverse, says Morgan Le Fay Deathan? Abso-fucking-lutely. I would love to. I would love to. They know it too. That whole crew is like, yeah, we'll at some point we'll make it happen. Their whole production crew are lovely, like getting to hang out with obviously Morgana and Brandon this year, but obviously like hung out with Vivzy Pop too, who is a real sweetheart, by the way. Yeah, 100%. If they want me, they know where to find me. I'll do it for cheap. Like, I've told Morgana this. I'm like, yeah, whatever you guys need, give me a call anytime, and I will, and I'll be there. That'll be great. Yeah. What's the dream project, says Victoria Oldman? I can't tell you, but I am attached to play the lead in it. So, if it happens, that'll be fantastic. Yeah. Hell yeah. Have you watched any new anime this year, says Queen Stodge? I have, but I can't remember what it was now. But I have... Oh, yeah. What the fuck is that called? It's the... I was about to be like, it's the high school one, but like that's all of them. It's the Azumanga Daioh. That's it. I started watching Azumanga Daioh this year when I was doing my ironing, and I really liked it. It's very cute and sweet, and then just like, yeah, lovely. Still haven't seen Utena. Haven't seen Agatha All Along. Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, I think we probably better call it there, gang. Thank you so much for coming out to the stream. More than that, thank you for an amazing 2024. I mean, like, what a year it's been. Yeah, wild. Kind of unbelievable this year. It's been so much. I think maybe my resolution for next year would be to despair less. There's been a couple of moments this year where I have like lain on the ground and despaired, and things have worked out okay, or I've found a way to pick myself up. So maybe I should despair less. There will be one more video this year on Tuesday, and then as always I'll be taking December off. You can also expect the Patreon post. Free Patreon post that will round up the channel's finances for the year. Other than that, I'm going to be taking most of December off-ish. I will, of course, still be working. You know me, I work every day. But I will be trying to take some time off at least. Anyway, right now I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. And I'm gonna give someone a lovely kiss. Someone who's waiting in that room over there. So if you'll excuse me, I think I'd better head out for the night. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful festive holiday period. Have a very Merry Christmas. Have a Skibbity Rismas. Skibbity Rismas to you and all your loved ones. So bad. Have a great New Year. Best wishes and peace on earth and all that stuff. So, and I'll see you in 2025 for some Nietzsche.